Poul's Kitchen. This is Chef Paul, and across from me that you're looking at is Amy. Say hi to Amy, everybody. Say hi to Amy. Or say hi, Amy.
Hi.
So before we begin, I want to let you know this is Amy's been here about 15 years now. Today would be her 15-year anniversary of moving to Nova Scotia, escaping the disease known as Ontario.
No.
And Ontario is not such a bad place. It's actually pretty cool. However, Nova Scotia is where it's really at. So I just wanted to say happy anniversary to my wife. 15 years to our lovely province, and happy anniversary, baby.
Thank you.
I'm going to pass you back over to her. So my name is Chef Paul. So before we begin, please hit like, share, subscribe, join us on IRC. Say hi to Chef Stanley. A little bit of a brat sometimes. Today we're going to do an Indian-ish dish. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not a perfect Indian chef, but I do have a lot of influence from some really good friends, and I've learned quite a bit from them. So we're going to do some curried coconut beef. So I'm going to use my wok because we got quite a bit of ingredients here. So we're going to start off by getting this really heated up, and we're going to use some extra virgin olive oil, and we're just going to dump quite a bit in here because we're going to start infusing everything as this gets really warm. And this works really well. So for the rice, we're going to make about 2 cups of rice. We're going to add some coconut milk, and we're going to add some unsweetened coconut to it. So if you can get your hands on some of this beautiful stuff, and Amy, please come on in here because you need to see. This is beef cubes. People use them for stew. However, doing them this way makes them really good. We got some garlic, some mushrooms, onion, celery, radish, and I've got some specialty spice here. Garam masala. If you're going to cook Indian, you might as well buy quite a bit of it. You can get it at Walmart in our ethnic aisle. They're really good. Curry powder, turmeric, red pepper, and ground cumin. Get your mind out of the gutter, Amy. So we're going to get this to the point where it's really, really boiling. So I'm going to step out here. It's a little bit brighter out here. I need to buy some lights for the kitchen just to make it a little bit more brighter, as when we film it's easier for you to see. Because I'm needing Amy to be focused more on what's in the frying pan, and it's a little bit easier for when there's a little bit more light to it. Stanley's saying hi, he's being an audience. I have some friends in Ontario that told me that they're going to start watching, so welcome to our show. Before we get in much further, while we're waiting for this, I need to bring up a very important topic. I've had a couple of comments on my website this week that were kind of disturbing, and are the kind of things that kind of make me snap a little bit. Everybody's welcome to watch our videos. I really love the idea that if someone's learning something, someone's getting a new idea or anything, I love it. I'm all about diversity. I have friends from India, I have friends that are Native American, I have friends from China, I have friends from all over the place. I'm colorblind, I see black, white, and gray. But the one thing I'm really blind about is what's actually in the heart. I don't care who you are. My wife's not even really technically Canadian, she's Dutch. I don't care where you're from, I don't care what you believe in, I don't really care what gender role, it's not my business. I'm married, I'm with the one that I'm with, and I'm not looking to jump or anything like that. One thing I will not tolerate is racist comments. If somebody's Muslim, Hindu, Jew, atheist, I don't care. That's their personal bit. Where they're from is where they're from. It doesn't make them a bad person. I'd encourage you to look in someone's heart, their personality, who they actually are, before you start throwing judgment around. If I see any more comments of any racial nature, I will just simply block your IP address. I don't care. If you want to come talk to me, come talk to me. I don't care who happens to visit my website. Don't care what religion, what sex, what role, any of that. It doesn't matter. Everybody's welcome, and if I ever see any of those comments again, believe me, I will have you blocked and I'll report you. I don't care. Unacceptable, and I'm not above making these comments on my show because I want everybody to feel welcome. It's just this way it's going to be. I'm sorry if that offends somebody, but you know what? God created everybody, whether they're black, white, Chinese, doesn't matter. So let's just try to, love everybody for who they are on the inside and try to forget who they are on the out. I don't really care who you are. It doesn't matter. Racism is racism. Let's end it. So back to the story here. We want to make sure that our oil is nice and hot. And one thing that you want to keep in mind when you're cooking, and this is very, very important, when you're doing this olive oil, there's certain things you can put in here and start boiling that are frying up. That's going to give it an extra taste. I'm going to make sure that this oil has a really nice flavor point to it. So you can infuse this oil really, really easy. So, you know what, I want to put a little bit more in. Because we're going to infuse this. In infusing this, it gives it much. Of course, if I do it to the wrong spot, it's not going to do very well. My bad. I blame Chef Amy here. But you need to make sure that this is really hot so that when you start dropping stuff in, when you're going to infuse it, it's going to have a really, really rich taste to it. Now, I'm going to throw this out here right now. I don't want anybody at all thinking that I'm trained to cook Indian, that I'm some really good Indian chef. Like I said, this is not going to be perfect, but it's going to have the flavor of it. It should be pretty good. I have a really good Indian friend down the hall. The man should open a restaurant. He really should. My wife would agree with me on this. He'll bring stuff to us all the time, and we'll try it. And we like going to Indian restaurants. It's one of our favorite foods. However, not one of them can touch this guy. Jamal is his name. Sweetest guy you'd ever meet. Just one of the most very loveliest people you'd ever want to meet. And I'm telling you right now, if you are ever gracious enough to be in our home when he's bringing food over, you're in for something. Because this guy is just an amazing cook. Would you agree, Amy?
Yes.
Okay, so now I can feel the heat coming, so I know she's going well. When you're going for meat, and Amy and I were talking about this the other day, and this is really important. When you're looking for meat, your doctor will tell you to get something with absolutely no fat. I'm here to tell you that's wrong. It's not right, and it's a waste of your money. What you want is a cut with some fat. Look over your meat, make sure there's a little bit of fat. Like, look at this. You can kind of see it streaming out here. It gives it extra flavor, extra texture to it. With that being said, don't go out and buy a slab of meat, like a piece of steak, with absolutely all fat to it. That's trash. No one's going to eat that. No one should eat that. It's not good. You want meat that has some fat. A little bit. The marbleization of it, it helps it cook. It gives it flavor. If you want to cut it off when you're done cooking it, hey, go for it. It's not going to kill you. So we got our garlic. And you can start hearing the sizzle in there.
Don't forget the fan.
And my lovely wife, leaving the dishwasher on to make it even louder. This one made it. Turn that on now. So we're gonna put our onions and we're gonna let this sit here for a little bit.
Don't shut it, it'll start.
Okay, well maybe that was fast. Okay. So we're gonna set this in here. We're gonna let the onions start to caramelize some. important to do that. Like, very, very important to do that. One thing I recommend when you're cooking, have something like this. Just sit it right there, and this way you're not going to make a big mess. So I'm going to put a little bit more on when I got the meat on, but for now, I dumped some of the curry powder, and this is a curry dish. So turmeric. Now, and then some cumin, and there's no right or wrong way to do this, but you have to be careful, because if you're serving this to somebody else and they can't handle a lot of heat, you don't want to put a lot in, and you don't need a lot. And I'm going to be putting quite a bit of meat in here. You see the vegetables are going in, right? So you do need a little bit. I don't like giving you measurements because honestly, this is 1 clove of garlic and 1 onion, right? You don't need a whole lot of measurements for this, to be honest with you. And that's kind of, you don't need it. You really, really don't. But watch your spice, watch what you're putting in there. And one last thing I want to put in here, and notice I'm not going to put any salt, because I'm sure there's enough salt in that salt mix. And there's one thing if you notice about the Indian culture. I could be wrong, but have any of you actually ever heard of a diabetic Indian? It's not really heard of. And I'm going to tell you why. And the Indian culture cooks a lot of food that's healthy, a lot of fresh food, a lot of vegetables. They don't really cook with sugar. Does that mean that Indians don't eat sugar? Absolutely not. I have a very good Indian friend I just met. She has 3 cups of sugar, 3 spoons of sugar in her coffee or tea in the morning. She can't have it without. She's trying to wean off of that, right? But I mean, does it mean that Indians don't eat sugar? Absolutely not. They drink it with it. They will have it, but in general speaking, a lot of their foods are not sugar foods. They don't eat garbage. They don't drink a lot of pop. They don't eat a lot of that garbage. So their food's actually really, really healthy. Hence why you see healthy Indians. There are going to be some more, just like everybody, right? But getting into some good Indian food is, a pretty good thing for you. All right, so how's that looking there?
That looks good.
So now, I'm going to start putting some beef in here. Now, traditionally I'm told that these beef chunks should be in here for quite a while until they're extremely cooked. Something that most of us would probably consider to be overcooked. I'm not going to do that. I'm not a big fan of overcooked meats. I'm just not. So I'm not going to do that. But I am going to make sure that it is nice and cooked. And I'm going to get just a once over on this, just a little bit more. And that's the curry spice powder. Technically it is Jamaican, but Indians do use it, right? And then we're going to put a little bit of garam masala. And last but not least, I'm going to put some red pepper flakes. This is a little hot. No going about it. Now when you're done this, and I'm going to take this cast iron pan back in the back, and I'm going to start cooking the vegetables in that. Now, when you're done, if you're going to be mixing this the way we do, because we'll put this in the fridge and we'll have a couple meals out of this. If It's Easter Day today, by the way. Happy Easter, everybody. We're still running? Okay, cool. We're not going to be eating this today, but we are going to. Eating this through the week. So I mean, if you want to make enough that you have meals all week, fine. That's not a big deal. You can do that. I'm going to put in my radish, celery, and mushrooms in this. We're just going to heat these up a little bit. We really aren't going to overcook them because these don't need a whole lot, number one. And number two, I find vegetables that are fully cooked all the way and a little mushy, they're not that great. So you don't need to do that. So we're just going to cook this up enough to say that it's, you know, it's been heated up, it's cooked a little bit, and that'll be good. Again, don't need any salt. I'm going to put a little pepper on though. And one last thing that we have put in, some coconut milk. Most of this is going to be for the rice, not for this. But when you make the rice needs to go in its own container, separate away from this. Do not mix them together. If you want to mix them when you're eating, that's great, but it's supposed to be a side to this. Do not, for any reason at all, mix it in with that. It's two different flavor profiles. Presentation-wise, it's not going to look very nice. When you're making rice, you can do it over the stovetop. I've got a rice cooker, easy peasy. That's all we're going to need. So what you're going to do here is you're just going to watch this meat and make sure it cooks all the way. And when it's done, it's done. And we're just going to stir this around a while. Not very long. It doesn't really need much. Then it's going to go into its own little container. When that's done, it'll go in with it. Mix really good. Amy, get a good look at that, please. What do you think?
It looks good.
It is going to be on the hot side. So, I mean, the rice is going to help with that. And here's a trick I was told. If you need, if you're finding things are too hot for you, a little bit more coconut milk. You just add more and more until you're at your comfort level. If you're cooking for other people and you're not sure, have some coconut available. Have it in the centerpiece and just have them pour a little bit on until they're satisfied. It'll be better for them, better for you. Nobody goes with their mouth burned out. Unless this is April Fool's Day and that's what you're planning on doing. Love you, Mom. I done that to my mother once. I was young and stupid, what can I say? I do it to Amy a fair bit, but Amy does like hot stuff. So, I'm going to let you guys go here in a second, and I'm going to be stealing the camera away from Amy in a minute, but when we come back, the rice will be done, this will be done, and Amy will have a little plate that she can take for her lunch at work. Because that's what Amy likes to do. She likes to eat. Like the rest of us. But Amy just likes good food. And Amy, I just got to tell you, hey, thank you for being a part of my life the last 15 million years.
Million?
That's what the ball feels. That's what the ball and chain feels like.
No.
And thank you for being here and happy anniversary. So you can see how that's just frying up there. We're going to be watching that. That's just about done. So we'll be putting that in a little container in a few minutes. You can see, I mean, like, mushrooms will cook really quick and you really don't need them that cooked. So we're gonna cut cut that out here in a few minutes, but when I'll let you know when we're back. You'll see it, and I'll see you soon. Welcome back. So we're about to conclude. I'm going to make up my rice mix, and then we're going to plate it, and we're going to watch Amy stop her face. She's Dutch. This is what they do. Don't ask me why, but it's almost like, say, a black lab. You put the food down, you set her down, and it's gone in 10 seconds. You watch. We got our rice done. So I'm not going to put it all in here. We don't need to. Just going to spoon out your rice. Make a bit of a mess so your wife's not bored and looking for something to do. She can be in the kitchen cleaning. So see the look I'm getting right now. It's like she's Superman. Her eyes are going to start beaming lights of evil at me. And by the way, guys, that's a joke. In reality, try to clean up as you go. Cleaning up as you go sometimes makes your life a little bit easier. A, your wife doesn't try to beat you up later, and B, your kitchen's somewhat nice. I'm just not a big fan of it when I'm filming because it's a lot to do. So that's most of our rice here. And then we got our coconut milk, but we got one little thing that we're forgetting. Coconut. Now, an Indian purist will tell you to go out and get real coconut. I'm not really skilled at cutting a coconut up and dicing it. It's not something I'm really good at, and at least I can admit it, right? So you're just going to gently mix this in really good, because you don't want to have a mouthful of coconut. You're supposed to have a mouthful of coconut rice. Amy will tell you she doesn't really like the rice part of it as much as she likes the coconut. We're not filming, actually. Amy and I had a little bit of an argument. See? A little bit of a mess for Amy.
Hey!
Amy's like, where's the chocolate? I'm like, what do you mean, where's the chocolate? And Amy's like, well, I see coconut, and that means there has to be chocolate with it. I'm sorry, guys, this is not a chocolate dish. This is a meal. You can have chocolate if you want, but Amy and I are both diabetics. Let's pour your coconut milk in here. It gives it a nice little creamy thing here, so I mean, it's really good. And mix it up really nice. And it's gonna have fun finding room in the fridge. I know. She loves me for it. You see how nice texture it is? It's not like stiff. It makes it nice, really sweet, which is a nice difference in texture from the actual meal that she'll be getting. All right, so I'm not going to make a big meal for Amy. She's probably not that hungry.
No.
And I'm going to grab Amy a fork because, well, I don't let Amy use her eat with her fingers in the home. She's very much into it, but
No, I'm not.
I'm going to pour a little bit of the sauce in there. And yes, Amy, I do realize there's no chocolate shredded on that, but it's still edible. I promise. It's real food.
Let me try it.
The countdown should begin. As soon as she puts her first bite in her mouth.
Mmm.
How is it?
Excellent.
How hot is it?
Not that hot.
Good. You can make this as hot as you want. If you really want to add some more spice or heat into it, be my guest. Amy likes her heat. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but Amy likes it.
Yeah, that is really good. You can really taste the coconut. Mmm. Thumbs up from me.
So anyways, like I said before, hit the like button, subscribe, share, tell your buddies about it, and let me know in the comments if you made this before. Thank you for coming to Poul'skitchen. We really appreciate it. You have a great day.
Now have a good Easter.